What's up, everybody? It's your boy T Fields here with Kimiko, and our special guest, Mr. Dedren Snead. And this is season 2, episode 5 of the BlerdSoup, and we're gonna get it cracking. So, let everybody know who you are, Dedren. We bring to the cast, to the soup. Everybody know who you are, man.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it, y'all. My name is Dedren Snead here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm the founder of Subsume. But Subsume's a technology startup that's the intersection of creativity, technology, and community, where we use traditional media such as comic books, video games, and animation to bring in equity into technology for shared futures and ways to be part of the workforce of tomorrow. I appreciate y'all we be here to hang out with the kids.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, what are you currently working on right now, Dedren? I know you. You
Uh,
gave us a little taster, but tell us what exactly you're working on, especially as far as in the graphic novel and comic world.
Yeah, so for us at Subsume, our main comic book project that we're known for is Sorghum and Spear. So it's a graphic novel and written anthology that's the story about a young group of young girls that basically learn how to beat up monsters, but more specifically, it's the African fantasy that's set in a fantastic world that showcases the last generation of girls that are trying to save their people from an army of monsters. And so this started from a series of mine from my old Dungeons and Dragons uh, from an old Dungeons and Dragons series that I ran
Mm-hmm.
back when I was at NC State in engineering school, and wanted to bring other people into it. Just try to make a new and diverse story, and have been writing on it ever since. And so, took a lot of those modules and started drawing it and bringing some other artists in, and eventually started making this into a comic series. And between Subsume and I work with Turnkey and several other items that we'll hopefully have coming out shortly. Started Subsume as a comic book collective, and then of course there's a passion for tech, made it where we started bringing these comic books in augmented reality and virtual reality, and then eventually how can we make these into the larger things that we like, such as video games and larger media projects. And so from that, Subsume's been a platform not only just for us to create, but
Right.
also connect with other creators that are looking at showing themselves being a part culturally, creatively, and career wise in the way that we tell the stories of tomorrow. So Subsume for us, we do a bit of workforce development, community empowerment, and then just so getting a way to just have fun and see ourselves represented.
Man, that is awesome. That is fantastic. Now, one thing I'm actually interested in because you said D&D, is there a possibility of a D&D game coming out these comics? I'd be super interested to play that. Come on
And that would be
now.
right. That I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say coming off the from the tabletop upbringing with Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder and Warhammer and all these other cool
Yep.
things that we absolutely see Sorghum and Spear as a space that can exist and exist well in tabletop. So obviously, from when I was a kid, and it
Mhm.
wasn't as cool to be the dungeon master.
Right, the
Right now,
DMs.
yeah, exactly. So DMs back then meant a whole nother thing. It was, but now the new DMs is definitely cool. Is absolutely no accessible. I think
Right.
is the word I'm really thinking of. So we definitely want to see our work exist in that space as well. So I think as we think of ourselves as a transmedia company,
Okay.
that tabletop and role playing is definitely somewhere we want to be at.
What could you do possibly of MMO? Because I think this sounds like a good MMO, man. I think it'd be a fantastic MMO.
Oh man, I mean, we absolutely would love for it to be right. So definitely grew up on MMOs, EverQuest,
Evercrack,
Serum
yep.
Server. Yeah, I was on EverCrack. I was on City of Heroin. I've been on WoW for a decade. I've had all of that stuff, right? So when you're talking about a good MMO, I mean, you got me. But of course, thinking of it from the idea of what would it take to run and run that well, it's just such an exponential amount of resources that you need to keep it up. Again, think about the equity in tech now is, you can buy a lot of the things that used to take a whole studio of people, and you can run and build these for, just a handful of folks. But again, it's the dedication of story that really is what drives these things, right? And
Right.
so we feel like we've got something that could tell you new and unique stories. Is being able to scale and being able to make it something that the audience and larger communities can enjoy. So I'd definitely be down with MMO. I think it's just the idea of doing it the right way, knowing how I was born and raised, and homage to those type of things for sure. You know, that's those are the things that we've seen can not only just build communities, but like build real world relationships. I still hang out and know folks that I had only met digitally like 7 or 8 years ago, and we're still friends in the real world, to
Right.
this day.
That
So the
right. That
idea
was
is
like
like,
before all the Discord and stuff like that. We had forums and everything to
yeah,
communicate. The good old days, like I like to call it, the good old days. Now it's just
right,
like you have too many platforms. Like you got Facebook group, Discord group, Reddit groups. It's like it's like 80 different groups I'm in just to talk about one game. Like it's kind of crazy.
yeah. Yeah, it was either just on AIM, Skype, or MSN Messenger, right? And it's just like, drop your name, and that was it, chatting there, getting a notification is such a big deal. But yeah, all that stuff's that's the classic way, right? And so for sure, it just goes to show, especially where we are now,
Mhm.
where we have so many of these things that are available and accessible, the importance of people being able to find their communities, right? Communities that support them, and that
Exactly.
they feel like they're welcome and safe, and have a way and a space to grow creatively, and just simply feel like they belong, because now that's the new economy, right? We got all the games of our dreams are out here, but
Exactly.
we all know of games that have all the budget and have all the hype and all the graphics of the world, but don't have the community behind it, and makes it where it
True.
just becomes forgettable. So I
Well,
think the
I mean
idea
that's
is
one of the
that
things though too is like
starting,
it feels like it's kind
yeah,
of hard to grow communities now because like you just said earlier, like it's so much stuff going on now. It's like how do you kind of pick your world that you want to live in? Because like me for example, I mean I've been playing Magic since eighth grade, so I still jump
mhm,
into Magic because like that's there. But it's like oh I want to taste this, like I want to taste Monster, I want to do that. It's almost like you don't have the time to invest to jump in all those stuff. So that's definitely a good question, man, to try to maintain this that situation right there because just like it's just everything's at the gas now.
And
oh,
even
that's
with what's that? The new like battle royales, you kind of like you don't go on an adventure like on an MMO because you
Right.
like we were saying we were building relationships and it feels
mm,
like as your as you and your dungeon pals are together, for instance, wow,
Yep.
right.
you
Going on
guys
raids,
are
raiding everything
yeah
up.
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, no bios. You gotta raid this raid. You gotta go down. Absolutely, absolutely.
I'll just kill
Oh my
everything.
god.
I'll just kill everything and that's it. Battle Royale, that's it.
He just
Hmm.
said bio.
Right.
Oh my god, that was
Exactly.
jargon. Okay, so MMO
Yeah.
jargon.
Yep.
So tell me what jargon. Okay, so we had bio. What else did we used to? What other word did we used to have? Oh my god. Like
Yeah, there was the barrels and
DPS.
the
We always.
BRBs
Yep.
and the
Mhm.
LFGs, right? I mean, that's the OG speak, right? This is all we had, right? Because it was
My tank.
that's it. Tank, yeah,
Tank, I'm
Oh
tank
yeah,
DPS.
definitely.
yeah. So that's the good old
Mm,
days.
The hell's the healer
yeah.
at? Get the healer up here. What the
Crowd
heck?
control. Oh my god, that's
Yep.
one that you won't hear a lot. Crowd
Yeah,
control. You got any CC? Man, we need some
yeah,
more CC here in this place.
yeah.
I mean, but then
Uh,
again, that's what kind of games like Legion, because everything's kind of evolved to that esports realm now, where it's like you had people that just played casual, which is mostly people who raid to play WoW, and then it became so competitive where it's like, oh, I can win
Mhm.
money doing this, and that's I feel that's kind of ruined the MMO because everybody's like, well, if I'm learning something, I might as well get paid and play professional with it
mm.
Right. But
instead of
I
having
think the go ahead, please.
no, instead of having that single world experience, it's like I'm with a group of friends, we're exploring this world, have a good time. Instead, it's like I gotta get paid now.
Right. And I mean, I think the idea of, if we think about like 10 years ago or even, almost 15 years ago, it's like a precursor to a lot of the things that we look at currently, right? Which is of cryptocurrency and mining and NFTs, right? So we used to have those mining farms in China before they were mining for crypto, they were mining for,
Special game items,
gold
correct?
and rare
Yep,
items,
Yeah, rare
right?
items, clothing.
Remember that,
Don't do
you
the
used to you
heroics,
used to
man.
yep,
you used to could
legendaries.
PayPal or eBay somebody for that sword, or
Ooh.
I need 5,000 golds. I'm gonna put 20 real dollars
It's
into
fun.
it.
It's
That was
funny
my
because
introduction to
Diablo 2 literally started the NFT path. If you think about it, it
exactly,
was
and
all came from Diablo 2.
right. And thinking
Man, they
back
were
when I was
making money. Mhm.
right, and thinking back to my time in college, that was my introduction to the idea of cryptocurrency and NFTs. It was the idea of you could buy digital assets for real money that impacted the avatar that you cared about.
Exactly.
And so that's really predates a lot of where we now, as the working adults of the world, understand and I feel like we're able to embrace, or you can see the exponential growth of crypto. So you have a whole generation of people that are used to paying real world assets for digital ones.
Exactly.
And so, particularly as geek culture now is encompasses and everything, this idea is like, this is where it started at. This idea of, again, I remember it specifically, there were businesses where I was in North Carolina where they were just farm mines, where
Right.
you could go in and that's all they did. Well, they just killed that same orc over and
Yep.
over and over.
Mining for
And
yep, mining for
and
items.
that was a job. That was a job in Raleigh, North Carolina. I
Yep.
remember that.
Putting everything up on eBay, selling it, doing the PayPal deposit,
Oh,
done,
absolutely.
and
Oh
repeating the
yeah.
Right.
profit.
Yeah, between that, and the same point of us also understanding, like, NFT art and rares, the idea of Magic started that, really.
Exactly.
You think about between Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, the idea of having, what was
Oh,
rare,
rare
what was
cards.
And it's
valuable,
Yeah.
crazy now because you literally people
in
paying
trading in
25,000 for
commodities.
cards now. It's crazy.
Right, and trading in these commodities.
Yep.
So the idea back then, of getting these rare hollow foils and things like that. I mean, again, we've been ingrained with understanding what that is for your gaming pleasure, right?
Exactly.
The idea is if you had this rare card, particularly like things for me, like thinking of Yu-Gi-Oh, if you had a rare needleworm, or was it the Black Lotus?
Yep. Black Lotus for Magic.
Right. It's just the idea, like, if you had this one card,
Yep.
you had sway over a whole community, right?
Exactly.
It's, these things matter. And again, it has that intrinsic value because the community said so.
Exactly.
Right. It took 7 cents to make
And
that.
the
Maybe
funny thing
versus
about
6
that
cents.
actually evolved from comic books, from comic collections,
Exactly.
with the grain levels and stuff.
Right.
That's all from comics. So it's amazing how
Right.
everything is literally started from a physical product to digital now, where everything, like, literally people are paying $4 million for a digital item. $4 million
Right.
for a digital item. It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
Like, and then
I
then
mean,
on top of that, how do you feel about the whole metaverse stuff that's getting ready to launch now? Because you got crypto coming out of crazy, like everything's starting to blow up for this whole new digital real world. In other words,
right. I was just talking with this. We've been had an opportunity to kind of speak in those over the past 6 or 8 months. It's really been a point of, no, it's just a point of heightened awareness, to a point of almost, manic obsession of, okay, what am I doing with NFTs and crypto, and now the space of the metaverse, right? You have this multi-billion-dollar company that's so involved in this, they're going to change their name, right? So
right?
Facebook's going to be Meta.
Meta.
I've had a chance to see on the other side of that before, that change of what's coming and what they really are thinking with that. I've always hoped. I mean, I tell people and say it's not what people think. I think the idea of Meta and us being more Ready Player One, of idea of like all these things are going to come together. That's the side of it that's built on economics, right?
Right.
The idea is all the things that we talked about is just, we're going to give up our humanity for this one avatar that we are going to, traverse this all
Digital
these
realm.
different locations and spaces, and we're going to be so involved in it that we're going to give our real world money and assets and time to build it up, because the rest of the world won't matter.
But
Right?
that's the thing, though, because I feel like Second Life did this already.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I say. And then,
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting
IMVU
up
as
to
well.
it.
But then again, Facebook has 1 billion users and plus some, so it's like it's easy to migrate those people. But hey, go pick up. I mean, Facebook can literally be like, hey, here, they can send everybody an Oculus, and then boom, you log into Meta. They can literally
Right.
start doing that right now if they wanted to, because I mean they own the company as long as they have their product. So it's like it's just making sure, like, how is that going to evolve, because it's only because let's be real, like our parents aren't going to be using this damn Meta stuff. They don't care about stuff like that. They live in the real world. So I feel like the next generation of kids coming up are gonna be super ecstatic about that. But even if, like, our generation, I feel like it'll be more like a side option, like 3D is in the movie theater.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to. I feel like the idea of the metaverse that everybody's hyping up still probably has. They still has like 20 years. It's 20 years away.
Exactly.
Because
exactly.
it's the idea of the things that we talk about in the metaverse now aren't accessible to normal people, right? So NFTs, which that's the thing everybody wants to make. How can I get NFTs? You know, like 95% of NFTs are bought by the same 1% of people.
Exactly.
Right?
It's a circle.
So it's not like people, no, normal people, and even abnormal people aren't buying NFTs. It's an idea of the things that are putting people in the headlines are like the super wealthy, or the companies that are trying to build and develop the idea that this is a thing.
Exactly.
And because it's not accessible, like NFL players can afford to take their half their salary in crypto, right? Because even if half of it went away, they're still multimillionaires. So
Exactly.
it doesn't work, right? And it's not like there's an accessible space for places that don't have internet, that don't have the environmental sustainability, right? So you see, like in places like Lebanon and these other spaces that are saying we're going to be fully digital and crypto, right? They don't have the infrastructure to support that.
They don't.
You can't just say I'm going to be crypto and not have a robust electrical service, right? To be able to handle data mining and all these other spaces. Like those are huge economic, environmental concerns.
Yep.
America, China is about the only two places that could do that. China's already said they're not going to do it.
Exactly. China's against everything crypto now.
Exactly, and that's the economy of the next 100 years.
Yeah.
Is China, not America. America doesn't have a sustainable economic plan for the next 200 years. And we
Unless
have
you're
the
doing solar power
environmental.
mining. That's about it.
But by the time they get to that, it's going to be a true democratization of coin and blockchain. And then the thing is, who's going to say that the 60 or whatever $500,000 value blockchain, Bitcoin you bought in 2014 is the thing they're going to do. That it's going to become a point where the system can just make something up that is one millionth of that and just leave you looking around like, well, your stuff has no value.
Exactly.
So I mean, I say to it, it's really at this point digital Beanie Babies, right? Remember Beanie Babies used to be like people were investing in Beanie Babies.
Exactly.
Like,
going to McDonald's, they should have got the special edition one.
Exactly.
Oh, you don't have
Everybody's like, well, you can't take that Beanie Baby from 1994 and go buy a car. But back in 1994, you thought you sure could.
Yep.
Right? Somebody probably traded a car for something like that. And this idea, because the community has to understand that value, it's not going to be the 1%, the 1% of today.
Exactly.
And
I mean, because even like right now, crypto is like it's just up and down. Like earlier this year, it sank like crazy. Like all my crypto coin wallets just dropped significant. I'm like, wow, because
right, because it doesn't have the buy-in of the people, not because people don't understand it. It doesn't have the accessibility. It's plasma TVs, like when they first came out. Saying that earlier.
That's a great iteration of that work. That is right.
It's $20,000 to watch the same TV that you can watch in your room right now for $200.
Right.
Like the picture looks way better, but it's like still the same show. Your life isn't impacted because somebody in a mountain villa is watching plasma TV. But then when you can go to when you go to Target and buy one, right, for something that's 10 times better than that plasma TV was back in the day for $200, right? You can go to your local Walmart and buy a TV that's better than that for $150. Then that's when it becomes adoptable, right? So and by the time that happens, there's going to be so many more changes.
Yeah,
that's going to be 2 generations, right? So even the kids that are in this thing now, it's the same thing. They're the most educated, most you can work remote anywhere in the world. There's so many jobs. We have too many jobs that people can't do that pay 6 figures right now.
Exactly.
But these kids that have all the accessibility in the world can't buy a house.
Nope.
Can't buy a car. It's just like a car is too expensive, and there's no housing, right? The housing is 3 times as much as it was for their parents.
Well, everything is leading more towards the gig economy type now. That's the thing too. Everything's gig based where there's no longer I'm gonna work for this company 20 years. It's like, no, I'm gonna get here, get paid, pay my bills, and I'm out. I'm gonna everybody, and I respect it because people want to enjoy their life now. We're like, I'm not gonna be hold to anything, and I respect that. But the whole gig economy is not thinking like how our parents think. I'm gonna get a job in the post office, work there 30 years, and retire. Like nobody's doing that no more.
Yeah, those companies won't let you do that anymore. The idea exactly the company gonna look at you at the year 12 and be like, "We gotta get rid of you."
Right, fire
exactly. Just because now the beauty and the problem of the gig economy is there's no corporate relationship.
Yeah.
Right. So the idea of companies had to do that. Right. There was a social contract between the old IBMs and and even the post office and things like that. Because we got a gig economy, that means that the market gets to set what it is,
Yeah, exactly.
right? Then the idea is like, well, people say I'm not going to work, and then people say we're not going to hire you. So now we have to just meet in the middle, and so now, and that's what it
So
is,
just
and it's
send me
just
a
like
check.
now,
Okay, I'll figure something out.
exactly. So now everybody gets to figure things out, but that
Exactly.
just means that it's the people that have that can outweigh the people that have not,
Well, I know
and
that's
that's
like,
it.
for example, since the whole COVID situation, it's been a lot of people that have gone the entrepreneur route now. We're just like, I'm just gonna work for myself and make it happen. And then they use the gig economy just to kind of pay bills. And that's been kind of fantastic because it's almost like it's a whole like renaissance of it just entrepreneurs coming out now. And I mean, we've seen
Right,
crazy technology happen now because of that. So I mean, I find that kind of amazing with just way people mind think are thinking now. Like nobody's stuck on
right.
that work here 15, didn't retire. I mean, you got people retired at 35 now. Like, hey, I'm retired. Like, what did you do?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
I mean, and Kim and Coco probably speak to this. Is people that whether that's in gaming, whether that's music, whether that's media, that
yeah,
sometimes people just in the right place at the right time, right? It's just you're not the best player on, a player of something. You just get a lucky shot
yeah.
and you win, right? But that's not how you can build a career. All right,
Mhm.
you can be a one hit wonder, and that just you sing that one good song, and you like I'm good. But I feel like and again, I want to make sure to open it to chemical. Like we because of social media, we see the exceptions. We don't see the rules,
Exactly.
right? Like, yeah, there's some kid that bought, bought into crypto, when it was $250. It's like I'm just gonna try this, and I'm just gonna give this dude, two pizzas for this.
Yeah.
And now and the guy looks in and is like, well, now I'm a multimillionaire because I did something obscure in 2008,
Yep.
right? But the idea is like, can you go out and do it? Like, the world's not lined up with 35-year-old millionaires, right?
Mhm.
Everybody will definitely want to influence you to think that there is,
Exactly.
because we're also in an influencer economy. We're not in an impact economy. Nobody has to show their work. They just have to say they're working.
It's right. That is a
That's
Oh
great
my
analogy.
God,
That
that's
is a great.
so
exactly
Nobody has
deep.
to.
That is
that's
Nobody
so
has to
that's
show
deep.
their
it.
work anymore. That is a great analogy. It's just like
That's the truth, right?
it's like everybody getting A's. Everybody gets A's now.
Exactly. We live in that, and that's post participation trophy. Reality is just that
Mm.
people don't have to. We are who we say we are. That's why we're ready to embrace the metaverse. We can make an avatar of ourselves that has nothing to do with the real world capabilities of who we are and what we can do, and that can work. Right? We're rushing to try to make virtual influencers.
Yeah.
We have no influence over the real world that we all exist in. So you
And
have to
that's the thing.
be
Like you don't see
very
influencers changing politics and stuff like that. They're not doing none of that stuff. It's like follow
right.
me, send me money, and I'll keep creating digital content. Thank you.
Right. It works enough for the top 5 to 6%
Right. I mean,
that
think
the
about it,
other
like like
94.
for Logan Paul, like Jake Paul, for example. Like, imagine you being a fighter that you literally going to work every day training, and you just see the guy pop up and like he just made 3 million without going through none of the stuff you've been going through. It's
Right.
almost
I
it's
mean,
almost
but
like
it's
wow.
it's that influence economy. He just said he
Exactly.
want to be a boxer, and then he get beat up one time. Well, congratulations, you're a boxer, right?
Right.
And then now,
Exactly.
you don't have to win. You just have to get in the ring. It's
Right.
just like, well, that's what we translate that into so much, right? It's just sometimes it's just, hey, I'm a boxer now, and again, before you had to go through the
Right.
rigors and the
Your
rituals of
Rocky
doing
montage, man. You gotta go through
right.
everything.
Exactly. Now it's just like I'm rich for some random reason, and now I get to just live out. I just get to cut in front of the line to just have these experiences, and whether they're good, bad, or indifferent,
Yep. Go
we're
buy
too
them
busy
burlesque
doing
now.
everything else to just
Go
go
buy
with
them
it,
burlesque.
right?
It's a
That's so crazy.
damn shame. I mean, but then again, it's like, yo, if it happened to you, congratulations. Like, I mean, you can't get mad about the situation. It's just like, this is the world. Hey, you get lucky. You hit lucky number 7. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about when you were talking about all this, I was like, dang. So a lot of times I question, whether, kids are actually going to finish college, in these newer generations because of like when I ask some kids what you want to be, they're like, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a social influencer. And back in the day, it's like, oh, I want to be an astronaut or I want to be a,
Right.
basketball player.
Exactly right. I
Yeah,
want to be a
Like,
yeah.
there's no
scientist.
growth
Now it's
for
like,
that.
I want to play video games. Like, okay. I mean, I'm not
Exactly.
knocking all those
Like,
abilities, though. I mean, those are all great
No,
things,
right.
absolutely not.
but the
But
job
that's
certification has definitely went down.
right, and that's why we see such a poor level of quality across those boards, right? Is why we have a overtaxed, healthcare system,
Yeah,
right? While we're at a desperate need for teachers, and why we have those folks like that, because kids don't want to be teachers anymore. Like my kids don't want to be any of those things. They want to be Corey Kenshin when they
yep.
grow up, right? Like
Mhm.
they just want to put a camera in front of themselves and be the star of the rest of the world, right? And that's not a bad thing,
Yeah.
but it's because we built that gig economy, that that's entrepreneurship, right? That's the hustle.
Social
But
media and
again, I
reality
think the
television,
idea
my
is,
friend, has built both of
what's
those.
that?
Social media and reality television has built both of those platforms.
Oh yeah, but again, it goes back to the earlier part about, are you a boxer or are you boxing, right? Anybody can, everybody can be boxing, right? You put on some gloves and start swinging, you're boxing. But
Exactly.
somebody, but it's just, it's that Mike Tyson thing, right? Everybody's got a plan until they get hit in the mouth, right? Now it's like, well, now you want to fight. Now
Exactly.
can you fight?
And when
Can
you
you
get that
fight?
first hit, it wakes you up like, whoa, okay,
Exactly.
that's pain.
Everybody can swing until it's time, until it's when you get hit. That's when you're a boxer. Like, now, what are you gonna do?
Exactly.
So the idea is like, we got a lot of people swinging these days,
So what are
and
you
it's just
currently
like,
playing right now, man? What are you playing in your free time when you get some?
oh wow. Now game wise,
Yes.
I really wish I had the time to play all the things I got. I really got years of unwrapped games sitting up on my
I'm at
desk.
year 3 myself of just games sitting there like, hey man, whenever you're
Yeah,
ready.
shamefully. Yeah, shamefully, I've got a whole Nintendo Switch and Legend of Zelda still in the pack. I haven't even had a chance to unwrap. So, I mean, the thing that I'm playing, really, the game also almost about to be my favorite game of all time was like World War Z. Like they made the new update.
Hmm.
I love zombie games. That's probably like my favorite genre
Yeah.
of horror.
You're not playing Back
And
for Blood?
so, I haven't. I was super hyped for that. I really felt like it was supposed to be, right. It's supposed to be the Left 4 Dead revival, but
Yeah.
and just trying to boot it up, it just didn't feel like it was the thing. And then World War Z, which is just that old steady, came up with all these new updates. Um, and I feel like if nothing else, they got the co-op part of that right. Even if it's still dated, it's still good, right? So the idea of playing with it has that's about as close to the old Golden Eye, N64 feeling that I've gotten. So I'm sticking with that.
And kids these
You
days
get
don't know
four
about that,
players,
my friend. They don't
they
know about
don't, again, and they are and I pity them for it.
yeah.
You don't know what that is,
They
but
don't know about
it's
slappers only, talking that stuff. Let's get some
right,
slappers
right.
then. Let's go.
Right, right. But the idea of let's see, I just finished, what was that? The zombie game that NX Undead Labs makes, which is State of Decay 2.
Yep,
That
State
was
of
fun.
Oh.
Do you play the
It's
Dying Light series at all?
I've got that loaded up.
Okay.
I've got friends that have talked well about Dying Light. Same. I didn't finish the other one, Days Gone. I started on that. I felt like
Yeah.
that was going to be a great game. I just didn't finish it. No bad reason.
Now I'm
Um,
surprised you haven't said Resident Evil though, being such a zombie person.
I haven't jumped on Resident Evil in a while. I know they had the second remix
Yep.
of Resident Evil 2, which that was my the one with Nemesis was my favorite one.
That was 3. 3 is my
And when
favorite
I
one
Three,
too. I
yeah.
love 3.
three, that's three, that's three.
Yeah,
That's
in the
right, because
jail.
second was returned, and
Yep.
three is Nemesis, right?
Yep.
So, thank you. So with that, um, it's not that I wasn't a fan of Resident Evil. I felt like they just had so many update, not real games that by
Yeah.
the time Village came out, again, it was in the queue.
Yeah.
So those are definitely it. Between that and a lot of Forex strategy games, let's see, and I'm trying to think of them now. I'm a big XCOM fan.
XCOM's great.
Same, I think Octopath Traveler has been on my list. Uh,
Great RPG.
Ghost of Tsushima is
Tsushima.
like
Yep.
I could just
It's so good.
cry.
It's so
I
good.
still in the package sitting on my desk, and I'm looking at now like I thought that was going to be my game. I finished once I finished my last comic,
Yeah.
and I almost have yeah, just this reverence for it now. Like everything in the world has to be right for me to open and play that game. So that means I haven't played that game. Um,
Sorry
but
to hear
with
that.
that,
Sorry to hear that.
Game Pass really, and I'm
It's
just saying,
great, isn't it? It's fantastic.
I was gonna say I want to be respectful of our time, but Game Pass has really, really been the thing. I just been dodging here and there. Though I'm a PC guy, I've got all the systems, but
I
Xbox
like how
Game
you I like how you quietly said PC gamer master race right there. I like how you said that. I'm a PC guy. Let's clear it out right now. Well, I know we
yeah,
gotta let you
yeah,
go here
but
pretty soon, Dedren. But tell me more about what you got coming up with Subsume. I know you got a couple more events popping up. Share that with us that
oh
you
yeah,
got going on.
oh yeah. So with us, with Subsume, we're looking at building a next community engagement program, which is called Black Futures Month.
Yes.
So we'll have a digital experience from February 4th through the 6th. That's at Friday afternoon into Sunday afternoon, where we're looking at bringing in a lot of guests, both in the space of technology, but also in our creative lens as well. So we'll be talking about comics. We're talking about the idea of the people who are building Black history in real time, whether that's in education, whether that's in games, whether that's in civic engagement. Just looking at bringing a space to show that we have people in pretty much every field of influence that are doing cool things, and just getting a chance to show and share that and build that and basically break down that misnomer that we're not building things for the future and that we're not part of the legacies of tomorrow. So the things that we talked about as far as the things like blockchain and even just the civics of what the world's going to look like 2 generations from now, just to say that the things that culturally and just from all of a diaspora of talent, that we have some part to that. So that's part of our series that we
Mhm.
typically have, which is then a prelude to our Creative Juneteenth event, which we'll have here during the Juneteenth holiday. So we've had a chance with Subsume to try to build around our community to not only find ways to vibe and enjoy each other, but also empower each other as we all try to follow our entrepreneurial and creative dreams. So definitely looking forward to that. Obviously, looking at connecting, collaborating with y'all on the expo and the
Yes,
big
sir. Big
expo and the other
Expo.
things.
Yes,
Super
yes.
excited. Super excited.
So here we go again. These are the things and the spaces that we realize that they're so necessary in this when you actually get a chance to experience things like this, that you really realize just how important they are to be doing the thing that we talked about, building community and building the engagement in our work. So
Exactly. And setting
very
the table
excited for
for
that.
and setting the table for the next generation, man. That's all it's about. That's how I
That's
look at
it.
it. Once again, man, it's been a fantastic cast. Thank you for coming. We appreciate your time, Dedren. It's been great. Everybody, make sure you check everything out. Subsume coming out. Black Futures Month next month. Chemical, you got anything else to say before we head out?
Oh, no, I just want him to at least give us some shout outs on how other people can reach you.
Oh, absolutely. So for me in Subsume, you can find us at subsumelife.com. That's SUBSUME. And for our other work, Sorghum and Spear at sorghumandspear.com. For me, you can find me pretty much on all socials. Not too many Dedrens beating around. So Dedren Snead on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And definitely look to connect and collaborate with y'all. And again, appreciate the time and opportunity to connect yet again.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate the time. Definitely will have Dedren back so he can tell you about how to be successful with more Kickstarter stuff because he is awesome at Kickstarters. But I'm your
Yeah.
boy T Fields, aka Thug Geek, here with Chemical and Dedren. And this has been season 2, episode 5 of BlerdSoup. You guys have a good day.